Hi everyone, we are in a very special Parsha coming up this week, because this Parsha we are completing the first book of the 5 books of the Torah. And as we know, our tradition, when we complete the book, and this is the end of this week's Parsha, with the whole shul, the whole community, screams out, Chazak, Chazak, V'nis Chazek, let's get strength, and we'll get strength to continue and be stronger. So let's see something very interesting. That the last words of this week's Parsha says, Vayomos Yosef b'meya v'asar shanim. Yosef passed away, it was 110 years. Vayachnatu oisoi, they embalmed him. I think that's what it means in English. Vayisem ba'arim b'mitzrayim, he was put in a coffin in Egypt. Comes the question, why do we complete the whole book and the Parsha with something that doesn't seem so positive? To complete that Yosef died and they put him in Egypt in a coffin, is this positive? They should have complete with 1 or 2 verses before that we speak about Yosef lived a beautiful life and he had kids and grandkids and great-grandkids. That's the beautiful way of completing. As it says in the Gemara, Mesayim and Betoiv, we got to complete with something positive, with something beautiful. So we're completing with something that doesn't seem to be positive. And as soon as we complete it, we all scream out, yes, Chazak, Chazak. We'll get from this strength. This is strength. That Yosef passed away, the era of Yosef was over, and he stayed in Egypt. He wasn't even buried in the Holy Land like his father. That's the greatness that we're so strong with that. We say Chazak, Chazak. The explanation, the Rebbe gives a beautiful explanation. He gave it in many different occasions. But in short, the idea, but the Rebbe explained. As we know, we are completing the book of Bereshit. And then we're coming next week, we're starting the book of Shmos. What is the beginning of the book of Shmos? What are we starting to learn about? We're learning about the real exile that the Jews are in. As this week's Parsha, last week's Parsha, yes, they were in Egypt, but it was paradise for them. It was beautiful. As we know that as long as Yosef lived, as long as the tribes lived, as long as Yaakov lived, it was beautiful for Jews in Egypt. Next week we're starting a new story. The slavery, the hard worship, and the decrees, and the debts, and the bloodshedding that was going on the Jews. I don't want to go into the details right now because it's not this week's Parsha, and we should talk about positive. Comes Am Yisrael and says, wow, that's a hard one. And it comes you and me as a Jew, we're coming to the next week's Parsha, it's a hard one. Galus, harsh Galus. How are we going to survive? How are we going to do it? This is why this week's Parsha, we complete the Torah with tremendous word of strength. What is the word of strength? Yes, Am Yisrael, you're in exile. Yes, it may be hard, but don't worry. Yosef vayisem ba'arim b'mitzrayim. Yosef is not leaving you. Yosef is staying in Egypt with you, his body. Not only a spiritual level, his physical being is staying with you in Egypt. As long as you're there, you have the strength and the power of Yosef. And he's not leaving his people, he's staying with his people in Egypt to give you strength. And whenever the Jews would have a hard time, they knew, yes, it's hard, but we have our great Yosef with us. This will give us strength, not only to survive, to prevail, and to get out of all this. As we know, there was the power of Yosef being alone in Egypt for the 22 years. He was strong, smiling, happy, as we learned about this many times. And this strength Yosef gives us by being in Egypt. And this is what the Torah tells us. Yes, we are finishing the first book, but I gotta give you strength to continue in this hard time of exile. You know what the strength will be? That even though Yosef passed away, But where is he staying? With you in Egypt, as long as Am Yisrael is in Egypt. Yosef is with us. And as soon as we hear this, we say, Chazak, Chazak, v'nis chazek. This will give us strength to overcome the Golus. And this is a message for us today. We're in a hard Golus. Mashiach has to come any day. But we're still in Golus. And it's stories and situations. But as long as we have Yosef HaTzadik with us, he didn't leave to the holiest of the holiest. He's staying with us. And this is our Rebbe is with us. We know, or we get the strength, as hard as it is, but we get the strength that will survive, will prevail, will succeed, or the Mitzvah Hashem will get out immediately, hopefully before Shabbos from this Golus. Bit Mashiach Tzidkenu. Good Shabbos, good Shabbos.